Holy crap. Was Smallville's episode Crossfire awesome? Alright. I know I haven't done one of these in a while. I'm going to try and do episode per week. But I can't make any promises for this account. By the way, if you can't tell, Igloo of Solitude channel, this one right here, it's not closing. I originally said it was going to close, but now I decided against it. Okay. So let's talk Crossfire. By the way, I'm using my iPod now as a stopwatch because it's a lot less noisy than my digital watch. Alright, I've gone on long enough for that. Alright, Crossfire. So you're probably wondering, why did they choose the title Crossfire? Well, because it kind of symbolizes, in a way, the introduction of a new character called Mia Deren, who in the comics goes by the name Speedy, who is Green Arrow's partner / sidekick. So Mia Deren is in this episode, and they actually, I have to admit, they got her origin from the comics, from what I know of it, pretty well done. I'm not a heavy comic book fan, but from what I've read, they got it pretty close to it. Mia Deren is this child prostitute in the comics, and she's pretty much the same thing here. And Oliver finds her on the street, and he's seen her fight, and he decides, you know what? I've seen the dark side of my life. I'm going to give you a chance to do something with your life. So that's sort of where Mia comes in. And it's just this whole scenario where Oliver's trying to teach Mia just how to be a better person and give her a second chance at life. So that's where the whole title comes from. But that's not really the prime focus of what the episode's about. The prime focus of what the episode is really about is, I guess, Lois and Clark auditioned for a talk show called Good Morning Metropolis, and they're supposed to be co-hosts when they get the job, and then they go on a blind date thing. And so Clark goes on his blind date first, and he actually ends up going out with Cat Grant, who's also a character from the comics. You wouldn't believe all the stuff that they jam-packed into this one episode alone. So yeah, they have that kind of stuff going on. And Lois sits off with Cat Grant. And I have to admit, I like the actress that portrayed her. I just think that they really gave her like 2 minutes of screen time. I'm not even joking. 2 freaking minutes. I know they probably had a lot of other stuff to do, but really, Cat Grant's very much a supporting character of the Superman comics. And here you are pushing her off to the side. I'm just saying, when your target audience is supposed to be, well, I guess the target audience isn't really Superman fans, but really, when you're drawing in all these Superman fans that watch the show, you kind of want to make something like that. So I don't know if she's going to show up later in the show. I really doubt it, because it was barely a cameo of Cat Grant. Anyway, so moving on. The episode then comes to Tess and Zod, which I'd have to say I liked part of it in this episode, but there was one part of it I really didn't like, which I'll get to later. So it gets to the point where Tess is making a solar tower for Metropolis, and this thing is freaking huge. This thing is like 2 towers, and they're just absorbing the Earth's sun, its solar energy, and it's supposed to power all Metropolis. And who should appear but Zod? Yeah. So I have to admit, like, the thing that's kind of ticking me off about introducing Zod at this point is even when he appears in the episodes, aside from the season premiere Savior, he shows up for like 5 minutes tops most of the time. And it's really bugging me. It's to the point where I'm like, this guy should not be a main cast or a main cast member. He should be a special guest like Oliver Queen was in season 6, because you're really not using much of this guy. You're mentioning him a heck of a lot, but you're not using him a lot. So then, anyway, Zod pretty much comes in. He says, oh, by the way, I'm the guy who's supporting your program for this solar tower. And yeah, you're pretty much going to have to do whatever I tell you to do with it. And since this is a yellow sun and a Kryptonian, you can about guess what he wants to do with it. And if you have no idea what the heck I'm talking about, Yellow Sun actually turns Kryptonians into what Superman is, or Clark Kent. Those kind of powers, that's what the Yellow Sun gives them. Because on Krypton, Red Sun, yada yada yada, conquer crap. Anyway, so that's how that whole thing fits in. And the thing that I really didn't like about, like, I know it's a very small thing, but there's a scene at the end of the episode's arc where after Zod has told Tess, I want to find out who this Blur is, which is Clark. He doesn't know that, because I know he knows he's Kryptonian. And he says, if you don't tell me who he is, I'm going to kill you. So he sends one of her security guards, who's actually a Kryptonian. And that... Why... Sorry. In the episode, they've been recurringly calling these people Kandorians. Why are you calling them Kandorians? Because they come from Kandor? Big frickety whoop. Just because I'm a Canadian, but that doesn't mean like I call myself a Torontonian before I call myself a Canadian. I'm a Canadian. You're Kryptonian. Get to the freaking logical sense. Anyway, so yeah. Just that whole thing was not making sense to me. Then they cut to a scene at the end where Zod is at a cafe. Now you're probably thinking, what's so friggin' bad about that? General Zod is sitting at a cafe sipping coffee like he's an ordinary man. General Zod, the guy who stormed the Oval Office and got the President of the United States to kneel before him, is sitting at a cafe like he's anybody. That's what ticks me off. This guy has been awesome since you brought him in, and you're turning him into anybody. So yeah, then they cut to this thing where Tess shows this bloody dog tag of the security guard who was sent to kill her. And that's the thing that I'm really not getting. It's been bugging me since this season premiere started. Where did they get these dog tags? I get that they're wearing like these human clothing because when they appeared, they were all naked. They had to wear something. So where did they get these dog tags? Because the concept of an alien race, I know the stupid phone is going. The concept of an alien race having human dog tags with alien symbols on it, is that not a little far-fetched? Especially the fact that they're for soldiers. It just does not make sense to me. I don't understand why the heck they have these things. Maybe they made them, but from what I'm guessing, they came with them. And where would you make something like that? Anyway, so yeah, that whole thing has never made sense to me since the season started. So now we come to the guy Stuart, who's working for Tess. He is sort of the anti-Chloe, and he's been trying to find these Kandorians. And Chloe pretty much blackmails him into going away from Tess and working for him. Which I guess puts Tess as a disadvantage, but really isn't the main focus supposed to be Zod. So then we come to the final scene of the episode, which is Clark going to Lois and lip-locking. Yes, this is the first non-red kryptonite, time-traveling, alternate universe, or amnesia at the end kiss between Lois and Clark. So, yeah, that's pretty much of a big deal. But the thing is, everybody's been freaking out over this thing, especially Lois fans. I don't mind that you're freaking out. The problem is, everybody acts like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. Now they get together and get married and la la la, and they'll live in a rainbow castle. People, the relationship will not work out. Clark and Lois don't work out as a couple. Superman and Lois work out as a couple. Clark and Lois don't work out as a couple until he reveals he's Superman. That's the frickin' point. So yeah, that's pretty much the whole gist of the episode for you. I know I kind of rushed it a bit, but I'm doing a bit on timing. So yeah, I'm just going to say it was a great episode. And happy Halloween. And I gotta cut this video short because there's probably gonna be kids coming to my door any minute now. Alright, so yeah. Adios, guys, and I hope to keep seeing you guys watching Smallville. Alright, bye.